I'm sure we can all agree we've seen a lot more electric vehicles on the road than we have in the last couple of years. Um, and the people that drive these vehicles think they are doing it to be more green and to have a better environment. But that's not necessarily the case once you read more into it. Over the last few years, I've done a few projects and have done extensive research on these topics in electric vehicles and just in the automotive world in general. And I've found out that there's a lot of problems with these electric vehicles that people have not been seeing. And for all of you, I hope that this kind of changes your perspective on the electric vehicle industry, because of the lithium mining, the problems with that, because of the problems in social cobalt mining, and because of the lack of infrastructure that we have for electric vehicles, they aren't near as green and as good as we thought they are. First of all, I want to talk about the lithium. So the main area where the lithium is mined is the Atacama Desert. And Amit Katwala's 2019 article named The Devastating Environmental Impact of Technological Progress, she explains how lithium is mined, saying that first you mine these ores out of giant pits, some that are being as tall or as deep as the tallest buildings in the world. And those become irreparable scars in the earth. So that leaves just giant pits. And then once those ores are mined, they're put into a brine pit or brine pools that cover the environment. And that is how it's dissolved, and the lithium is actually harvested to be used for batteries. And those aren't just the only two problems that there are with doing it that way. As I said earlier, this area is a very, very dry area, and the water loss that they use is just devastating to the area for the people that live there. But lithium isn't the only resource that they mine that's just has a lot of problems with it. But cobalt is as well, not just environmental problems, but social problems. In Terry Gross's 2023 article from NPR named How Modern Day Slavery in the Congo Powers a Rechargeable Battery Economy, he explains the use of artisanal miners, which are people that are freelance workers of the area, which this area is the Congo that cobalt is being mined, but they're of the area that do freelance work for $3-4 a day. And this just doesn't just include men and working men, but it also includes hundreds of people in mines, including children and pregnant or nursing women. So that just, there's a lot of illegal activity that's going on there, and it's kind of being overseen lately. And not only is there problems with that, but there also is hazardous problems, as we are seeing a lot of deforestation in the Congo, and a lot of problems with our air quality pollution, as well as water contamination in this area. And these companies that are doing this, they're not slowing down at all because they're not being stopped. They're even mowing through villages, bulldozing over villages just to build new cobalt mines for the demand that they have for this cobalt for batteries. And now that we know kind of all about the cobalt and the lithium mining, those are the environmental problems, but there are also huge problems when it comes to infrastructure. And you look at kind of location. In Hutchinson, you'll see that there is one area for charging station, for public charging stations. And when you look at any rural areas, there's none of those. And if we want to switch all the way over to electric vehicles, if companies are wanting to do that by 2035, 2040, you're going to have to see a lot of improvements with infrastructure, and a ton of them. And not only do you need to see more charging stations, but you need to see a huge upgrade in the power grid. in a 2022 article written by Nivis Dolsak, who's a writer for Forbes, he explains how California wrote a law to completely ban the sale of new internal combustion engines by 2035. But right after this happened, California experienced a massive heat wave that caused rolling blackouts throughout the whole state, and it caused many people to not be able to charge their cars at home, on the road, anywhere. So you'll need to see huge upgrades nationwide in the power grid, and you'll need to see upgrades in the charging stations themselves that we already have, because in a 2022 informative diagram from Energy Sage, it is explained that for any cars at home, for a 240 volt outlet, it would take 12 hours to charge your electric car. And for anything else, for any public superchargers, it would take 15, 30 minutes to do that. And that's a lot slower than your normal gas station or something like that. So we'll have to see a lot of time upgrades on those charging times as well. In conclusion, we kind of learned about lithium, how there's environmental problems with that, how there's social problems with cobalt and the problems going on in the Congo with that, and as well as our infrastructure and how there needs to be many improvements in that before we see a great future for electric vehicles. I suggest that you guys all keep your cars that you have for now, because it's very uncertain how this will play out in the future. But I suggest that you keep those for now until those problems get ironed out, or if we see a better alternative come in the future. Hopefully we can see those problems resolved so we can participate in a fully green mode of transportation. Thank you all for being here.